Live from the Panera Studios, it's the Reading with Robin show, brought to you each week by my friends at Panera Bread, where 100% of their food is 100% clean. Everything from their delicious soups, the broccoli cheddar, the vegetarian creamy tomato, and the bistro French onion soup, to the satisfying sandwiches, roasted turkey and avocado BLT, or steak and arugula sandwich. And don't forget about their fresh brewed coffee and their bottomless mug. Panera is a great place to meet friends or get some work done. That's where the bottomless mug comes in. It's all at Panera Bread. And now, enjoy the show.
Amanda Eyre Ward and I go way back. We go way back, a lot of books. Always excited when Amanda has a new book out. I think we met at How to Be Lost and discussed Forgive Me, Close Your Eyes. Not sure if we got to all of them. The Same Sky, Love Stories in This Town, and now out today, brand new, it's Pub Day, a gorgeous, heartfelt mother of a book, The Nearness of You. Welcome back to Reading with Robin, Amanda Ward.
I am so thrilled to be here.
Really, really, really happy to have you. And we go so far back, way out in left field. That's how far back we go. And now your website is Amanda Ward.
I use my name with Eyre, but the website's just Amanda Ward.
Okay, so just go to amandaward.com, and from there you can find Amanda on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. And tonight, if you're in the Houston area, tonight on Pub Night, you will be at Brasso Books, where we went to visit them. That's a great store in Houston.
It's a beautiful store. It's my first reading there, actually.
Well, we loved it. They had really great, I liked the layout in there, and they had really great gift items. I remember spending a lot of time looking at all the little, for book nerds, it's just heavenly.
Beautiful little store.
It really is. And then tomorrow night you will be back in Austin at Book People, which is your hometown bookstore.
I have to say, I think Book People is the best bookstore in the world.
It's awesome. I could have spent the weekend there. It was very hard to leave. I didn't know what to look at first. It's really a fabulous bookstore. If you're in Austin, you don't want to miss going to visit Book People.
They put your name, on a marquee on top, which just feels very important.
It's so important. Will you take a picture so I can share that with everybody?
I will. That's a great idea.
I want to see this marquee, and also we have 2 copies of The Nearness of You to give away. So if you want to enter to win, you can email me, Robin, at readingwithrobin.com. I was going to say, tell us your favorite. Is it Ella Fitzgerald? Is that who it was?
It was Ella Fitzgerald and then Nora Jones.
Yes, Nora Jones. There's so much to discuss in this book, and the music rings loud and clear in my mind. And as I was reading the book and so many songs are referenced, I kept, then the song's in my head, and the title comes from that song. How do you go about picking a title? It happens to be I think it's like the perfect title for this book, but how did that come about?
Every book is different. Sometimes I have the perfect title from the start,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I think it's the perfect title and the publisher disagrees. And this one originally was called Baby Z.
Oh, okay.
But then people thought, I guess the publisher thought that the word baby might imply that it's some sort of book and it's really a literary novel. So.
Okay, Baby Z. Yeah, I could see that. Okay.
Yeah, we combed through the text, and then I said, what about The Nearness of You? And then we had to check to make sure we could use it, and we could. So
okay, because, right, the copyright and all that kind of stuff. Even for a title, that would be an issue? I didn't realize that.
It's not, as it turns out.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, because you definitely don't want anybody chasing you down. And visit amandaward.com. Some of the beautiful things fellow authors have said. Deftly paced and enthralling, provides insights both heartening and harrowing. That's from Mira Jacob. A lot of my favorite authors here. You will love these characters in this book, Marisa de los Santos. And Jane Green says, a gripping and powerful family drama with an unexpected and brilliant twist. And it was unexpected. Did not see it coming at all. So, brava.
Good. Wow, if you didn't see it coming and you
Didn't.
read every plot there is.
No, I didn't see it coming. I had a question about something that I was reading, and as everybody knows on Reading with Robin, there are no spoilers, there are no giveaways. Well, there are giveaways. We're giving away 2 copies of the book, but there's no plot giveaway. There's nothing defining where you're going to say, oh, that Robin, she ruined the book for me. I promise that won't happen. I did have one little question mark, and I tucked it away in my mind to see if I could figure out what that was, but didn't see it coming. So when you're telling somebody about the nearness of you, and I'm not great at elevator pitches. I'm not great at distilling anything down into a soundbite. How would you describe the book?
Well, it all started for me with this 80s miniseries called Baby M, and it was the real life story of a child that was conceived via a surrogate, and then the surrogate, Mary Beth Whitehead, went a little crazy and went on the run with the baby. So I thought that was such an interesting story. And then the fact that the law today it's actually true that if you signed papers to have a baby for someone in Texas and drove to Louisiana, the baby would be yours because there are different laws in every state. That would be a good framework for looking at motherhood, which is a topic, obviously, I think a lot about.
Absolutely. And, yeah, the what ifs. Really, and I mean, I remember this story. We all, anybody that was around at the time of that story, it was just the ability to have a child in many different ways is both amazing, and then comes with it, the what ifs and all of those. But that story is something that if you were around at the time, it was always on the news, and you could just, you say Baby M, everybody remembers.
See the miniseries? There was a crazy miniseries.
I did not. I can put that on. I'll add that to my list of things to do one of these days to watch it, because it was
over the top, but it was great.
Fascinating story. And I'm on the phone with Amanda Eyre Ward. The Nearness of You hits the shelves today. It is such a gorgeous, loving tribute to, the things that we do, our dreams and hopes of motherhood, and learning what that can mean and making it okay for everybody as best we can, and really made me think about a lot of things. And and it's told in many different voices, which I really enjoy hearing. I think we hear from Suzette, we hear from Dorrie and Jane and Eloise, and everybody has something to say in this book of yours.
And then one chapter from the husband's point of view. So I have written from a male point of view for one chapter.
We don't need to hear much more than that from the male point of view, do we, Amanda?
I agree.
But I love that I really enjoy reading a book where we get the different perspectives, and as reliable as any narrator is, that's what we know. So I really enjoyed that. And Suzette is an amazingly celebrated heart surgeon, or I don't know what level of heart surgeon she's, like some kind of just genius, brilliant doctor. But one of the things I really enjoyed is connect so deeply to music is the music in the OR. So what was the research, like for how the operating room goes, or how things, what procedure is? Did you do a lot of research or spend any time there?
I've written, this is my 6th novel, and kind of gone through every job I've had, or I know someone who has. We've done journalist and librarian and all these different jobs. So I have a friend who is a pediatric cardiologist. And I always thought his work was so fascinating. So when I conceived of Suzette, who I wanted her to be someone who was a control freak, who thought that she could control her journey of motherhood from start to finish. And then, of course, she's shown that that's not going to happen. But I called my friend, Dr. Pat, and I said, would you meet me for breakfast to talk about your job? And we ended up meeting every week at Kirby Lane for pancakes, and I was describe what he was doing that day and who his patients were, and he drew pictures of how the surgeries worked, and it was just fascinating, and what a wonderful treat to be able to hear about his job, and it's sort of surreal. I mean, heart surgeons are controlling life.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Heart adult is on the heart-lung machine. their heart is stopped.
Yeah.
And then they bring them back to life. So I just became obsessed with it and ended up putting way more than ended up in the book about heart surgery because my editor said, this is not a book about heart surgery.
But it was so interesting to read, and it was clear from reading it that you really, I mean, what do I know about cardiology, pediatric cardiology nonetheless, but it was clear that a lot of care and detail went into the research to keep the storyline, you don't have to know anything about it. It makes perfect sense, but I felt like I learned a little something, but really thinking about what the heart means and the heart of the novel and the mother's love, and just so, it was just such a brilliant way to connect the story and show that control, like you say. I mean, that is life and death there. I mean, the fever pitch which the surgeons need to maneuver, and the donation at the beginning of the book, I think, the heart donor, and just the reverence paid to the donor, privilege and appreciation for life that can go on, and just and in the middle of all this, a child of their own for Suzette and Holden. And they're a really interesting couple. What was it like to write about them?
Well, my friends who are doctors, male and female, it's a very all-consuming job, and it's hard to be a parent and a heart surgeon. That's an incredibly hard combination of things to be because both of them require 100% of your energy and of yourself. And so, you're obviously always having trade-offs. So I needed them to change as a couple as time went on, and especially when Eloise came along, it had to be a conversation about, well, who's going to be the primary parent, how's your work going to go, and I had to do a lot of thinking about how their careers would change. And these are conversations I have with my friends all the time. Who's going to be in charge all the time for me to be able to become who I want to be?
Well, maneuvering that in any relationship is challenging, but when you have that circumstance where that job requires full focus, and at one point Suzette is in surgery and maybe focused just for a second shift, I was thinking, wait, why did she take that phone call before she was going into surgery? But it also shows the way you've written the book and those scenes at the hospital, from the outside looking in, it just looks so, otherworldly and magical, but it's their job. And so there's music playing, and there's phone calls being taken, and there's a break somewhere. It just, it's more, it's routine, and you have to be steady and capable, and the focus is just what that requires is just dazzling. Were some of those your favorite selections that you the OR music, was that something that you were really connected to?
I listened to a lot of music and kind of what would she listen to get her into the mindset? It almost has to be music that turns off her brain but keeps her going and gives her energy. So yeah, Led Zeppelin seems like the right thing.
Yeah, I was thinking with that, you just figure everyone's quiet and focused on the patient, and then I'm like thinking they're playing. I think "Luck Be a Lady Tonight" was playing at one of the points.
Yeah, that's when she lets her nurse decide. But to tell you the truth, I don't actually know where I got that. I don't think that my friend told me they played music. I must have seen it somewhere. I don't even. I think they do.
No, they do. I have read that before, and it's mind-boggling to me because it would seem that depends. Everybody focuses differently, like you say. It could be something that keeps you going but allows you to tune it out, but it's still there and it does its job. And I'm on the phone with Amanda Eyre, who has written another gorgeous novel to share with her readers. It's called The Nearness of You. It's out today. You can visit Amanda on Facebook, Twitter, on Instagram. If you're in the Houston area tonight, she will be at Brazos Books, and tomorrow night in Austin, back home at her place on the marquee. It's Book People, and we have 2 copies of The Nearness of You to give away. To enter, please email Robin at readingwithrobin.com. And as long as you're listening to us here on iTunes, please click the subscribe button so you will never miss an episode. Now, how old are your kids now, Amanda?
They're 13, 10, and 5.
Because, I mean, I remember and Amanda and I had the pleasure of visiting not too long ago and talking about the kids and remembering how old they were when we first all met and when,
I just had one.
I was going to say, and when they were born. I know, that's how far back, but clearly your heart as a mother is on every page of this book. And do you ever think, like, sometimes these stories just sound so crazy, the way, you think life is going to go and how you might be wanting to plan it out and then handling things as they come, but you give your characters a lot to deal with. And, right, I mean, can you even imagine, as a mother, some of these things that the characters have to deal with and put themselves aside for is really incredibly painful.
Well, How to Be Lost has a missing child, and I don't think that I could do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I have not had something awful happen to a child. I just couldn't bear it. That I've written about motherhood as a topic. I mean, it's come in thematically to all of my books, but for all these years, I thought I want to be an important writer, and important writers write about war and the death penalty and addiction, and then this was a sort of reckoning where I thought, I think motherhood is the most important topic for me that there is. So I go for it.
So that was the nugget of the story. I mean, I know the baby M part, but then did you think, okay, was a conscious decision to have a book really where motherhood is the focus?
I think I'd been avoiding that decision for a while, trying to. I guess I was afraid not to be considered serious, and I got to a point where I am considered serious. I'm almost too serious, and it's time to write about motherhood.
So what could be possibly next? Since now you're serious, and everybody knows that you're, a serious author with serious hair, and now you've written about motherhood. What happens next? I mean, I never.
Working on a book about a dysfunctional family on a cruise ship.
I love it already.
I am much fun. They're all trapped together with all their issues, and so I went on a cruise this summer to research it.
That's right. We talked about that. Now I certainly remember that because I said the same thing. I love it already.
You'll get one of the first copies.
I'm looking forward to it. It's very exciting to know what's coming down the pike. We're celebrating the Nearness of You now. It's out just today, and you can visit amandaward.com. And you are very in touch with your readers, and that's, I think, such a neat thing for readers to be able to share with the author bits about the book. And you must enjoy hearing from your readers.
I love letters, and I sometimes Skype into book clubs, and a lot of book clubs come to my readings. I have a half an hour beforehand. We serve champagne and hang out.
So much fun, and I would encourage book clubs to get in touch because it adds such an extra layer of fun, and you never know what's going to happen during these Skype sessions. People ask questions, and you could get a whole bunch of information that never would have really thought about sharing. And so you can email Amanda, find her email on her website if you'd like her to Skype in with your book club. And I seriously recommend readers take authors up on this because it really enhances the book club. And
we love to do it. I mean, we're home alone in our pajamas all the time.
Absolutely. Put on a little lipstick and put on your Skype and you're ready to go. What else do you really...
I'll wear my pajama pants.
That's the best. Any job that you can keep in pajamas as part of the deal is absolutely the best. And to that, I want to say there was this adorable photo on your, I guess it must have been on your Facebook page, and your daughter wasn't well last week, but you brought her into the studio because you had an in-studio interview, which sort of summed up your whole book, I think.
I know. It was so funny that there I was, and I thought, I can't cancel my NPR interview. I'm not going to do it. But I can't leave her at home with a fever, so I pulled one of my other children out of school to watch her and arrived with an entourage. I wasn't going to miss my NPR interview, so I pulled one of my sons out of school to watch my daughter who had a fever, and I arrived at NPR with an entourage.
As well you should, because you are a serious author who needs to arrive at an NPR studio with an entourage. Has that interview aired?
No, it'll air today.
Okay, good. So can check that one out after you've listened to Reading with Robin, chatting with Amanda. You can go to Amanda's site and find I'm sure the link will be up there. Or Google NPR interview, Serious Amanda with Sick Child in Tow. And you will find out, and you will find it. And again, we have 2 copies to give away. If you'd like to enter to win, please email me at robin@readingwithrobin.com. Now, before I let you go, always have to ask what you're reading, what you're recommending, loving, or you have lined up waiting to be read.
I have become obsessed with Tana French, an Irish crime, her new book, The Trespasser. And they're all these crimes in Dublin. And it's so beautifully written with a great plot. It's my favorite kind of book.
So it's Tana French. Yeah, people love her book. I have not read them, but it's good to know. Everyone wants to know what the writers are reading. I mean, that is one of the coolest things. And when I saw Chris Bojalian, he was here fairly recently to talk about his latest book, The Sleepwalker. And he actually talked about when he was here with you and Elizabeth Berg at our Evening with Authors several years ago. So Chris has incorporated.
I hope we'll get to come back. That was so fun.
That was so fun. I know. We should have like a reunion. That setup with you, Chris, and Elizabeth was so. I remember sitting there thinking, I love this. I never know. It always works out actually, but there's always connections and surprises. But that one really sticks in my mind as really it was meaningful.
I'm a huge fan of Chris Ford and Elizabeth. Yeah, I would put both of them on my top 10 list. I love their work.
So great. And I'm pretty sure Elizabeth has a new book coming out in April or May also. And Chris has incorporated into his book tours what he's reading, and he brings them up. So when he was in front of the audience, because everybody does want to know, and I posted them on my Facebook page, but you see him holding up various books. And then everybody, isn't that a great thing to do? Yeah, it's one thing to say saying the titles is great, certainly, but when people see it and you're holding it up, it's very different. I think then they remember that cover. They may not get the book that day. It may be another day, but it really sort of keeps the titles flowing, and, writers supporting other writers is always such a, it's just like.
There's a lull before you're reading. You can read a chapter in the background.
I know, right? And luckily, you can always be reading because there are just so many fabulous books, and that's what I love to do on Reading with Robin is share them. And I know, what's better than having the next greatest book waiting for you? Just, I sometimes just like to look at them. And so when Chris brought them all up there, I thought, that's just such a cool thing to do. And a lot of times people really do want to be told what's a good book to read. And authors are just, inherently trustworthy on that end. So.
Yes.
Right? Want to know what to read? Ask an author. And want to know everything that goes on in an operating room with pediatric cardiologists? You've got Amanda's fabulous new book, The Nearness of Youth, book filled with heart, family, passion, great tunes, and just a gorgeously told story and a twist that I don't think you're going to see coming. That's just, I want to hear if you did or what you thought. I'd love to know. Get in touch with me. You can find me on my Facebook page, Reading with Robin, or again, Robin at readingwithrobin.com. And I wish you all the best on your pub day and your journey, and look forward to seeing you on the East Coast sooner than not.
Sounds great. I would love it.
Thank you, Amanda. Have fun tonight in Houston.